What's up, WWE Champions Universe? This is Lee from Champions Chat, and this is your 6-star preview of Rhea Ripley Heavy Metal. You can see mine has stopped moving. I can move her, but she's not breathing or moving. It's concerning. The model is just basically the one we've had for Rhea for a lot, although I do think they've kind of worked on the face. I don't know how else to say it other than to say that the versions of Rhea that have been in the game, especially Judgment Day Rhea, seem like that orc off Lord of the Rings that's fighting over the food, and did not do her justice. But other than that, it's just basically some cosmetics that are thrown on her. Love you, mommy, and a different jacket. But she's kind of Brutality Rhea with a little bit extra on top there. So, Heavy Metal. She is a Legends era female. Can we just get this out right away? All of us have wanted an accessible Legends era female, and the Chase character is the most accessible that they've been outside of Wendy. I mean, obviously, Showboat Wendy, everybody can get, but she's terrible. So this, regardless of if this character is good or bad, as long as she is decent, and she should be as a Chase character, this is a huge win. It's a little weird having Rhea as a Legends era, but we've all dealt with that at this point, right? No additional gear, trainer at 26k, green submission moves last 2 more turns, and green moves start with 2 more MP. I like that. That is a nice addition. We've got a few different movesets we're going to look at, and the first one is the first one that caught my eye with this, because I'm always looking for Juggernaut builds since I have Streak Goldberg. Once you look at them without, like you could easily substitute for Ray for flat gem damage coach. But for me, I'm going that way. So on the missile drop kick on the bottom, it is your purple 4 MP move, deals damage and chooses 2 gems to make into 2-turn Juggernaut gems that will increase your blue MP by 5 on every countdown and increase your strength of multi-gems by 3 at the end. Then you have the 2-handed choke slam, deals damage, chooses 4 columns to make into multi-gems of strength 6, and the Riptide finisher deals damage, makes 28 multi-gems into purple, and pin the opponent. So, very recycly, even without Goldberg, but we are going to do this for your trainer set. This is a fairly accessible for 2 of them and maybe 2 not. So let me talk to you about what you would substitute. So you definitely need Woods in there to get her started loaded. That 4 MP may be loaded in most modes, but you want to get the multi-gems out there and start working your magic that way. So you're going to want to have Woods on there. I have Matt Hardy for multi-gem strength goes up by 2. If you don't have Matt Hardy, you do have Tech Lex. And he would actually bump up the blue by 1 more MP, plus give you 1 more on the strength of the multi-gems. So we're only 1 away from that, but we're not using, because I don't have her, Sherry, who bumps up the multi-gems even farther. Gunther, Zombie Gunther, I feel like is also somewhat accessible. The October prize wall, he was on there. A lot of people chose him. So that is your multi-gems are 60% more damagey. And blue gems, although we're making purple. So we go from there. And then Goldberg, moves that generate Juggernaut gems will create 1 more Juggernaut gem. So on the strap, it's the preview strap, so it's 30% gem damage, plus double Fury 2, which means if you've got a 50-60% strap, but not one of the sets of Fury 2, that's pretty offset, right? So gem damage focus for her. I'm not going to put any plates on this build. You do have the Pyro Princess plate that you could put right here. Just simply to buff up the multis, right? But it's blue, right? It does blue gem damage, not purple. You could certainly put something like the DX Army Assault just to get more additional damage on there. But for the most part, other than your typical cheap shots and things like that, we're not worried about the plates on this particular build. So let me take her out on the road with this build. She's still not moving, and she's staring into my soul. And see how she does. We're out on the road against 5-star gold China. I would love to face a 6-star opponent. The best I could find is the one that is locked behind needing to beat a 6-star character with a Legends era female. And I have not, with my own characters, been able to do that yet. So I will not and cannot, should not use Rhea to do that, because that would be... that wouldn't be right, I guess, with it. So we are going to choose 3 gems to make into Juggernauts. Usually the best play is to put them on loot boxes. And then from there, if I had a blue match, that would be wonderful. If I had a purple match, that'd be wonderful. But I don't. So we'll go straight into the greens. She eventually will stun me, and that's just the way it's going to be. But we pretty much are loaded right away, so this is great, right? So now just don't over your Juggernaut gems. Place these down here. You could go straight into it and just blow them up with the 8 times that they are at now. I am not going to do that, however. I did create myself a swipe there. She'll get a turn, and then I could have saved that a little bit better, but now the Juggernauts go off, and we're times 17 on each of them. 28 into purple. She's not going to survive, so let's just see what damage we can see with it here. Pow. All purple, reloaded, life's good, and it was about 3 million damage right there was about it. So 6 million at 6-star silver. That's with Goldberg. I could run it with Ray just so you could see that, but it would be a little bit less damage than that. So let's check out something else. The second moveset we're going to look at, there's kind of 2 variations on it. I'll show you both ways, but you either run it with the Northern Lights, the spinning forearm, and the headbutt, or you run it with the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to increase your blue gem damage. I'm going to run it this way first and focus on countdown trainers for that. So on the bottom, we've got the Northern Light suplex, deals damage, increases your black MP by 5. In the middle, you've got the spinning forearm, black 6 MP move, deals damage, makes 28 random gems into 1-turn countdown gems that will deal 107,000 damage and make 3 random gems into blue at the end of the countdown. Then it deals more damage plus bonus damage for every countdown gem. And finally, you've got the headbutt, which deals 67,000 damage and decreases your countdown gem timers by 1. So, couple thoughts on the trainers for this. I do not have tour perks because I have not done my talent up at all yet. I haven't. So this is like fresh, what you'd see in any mode where your MP is taken down, etc. I think this is the build where KO, the current free superstar, comes into play because blue gems do 40% more damage. Black moves start with 2 more MP. However, I don't have, without tour perks, enough to start loaded with this. So just a note, I am going to go ahead and run it this way, but if you're trying to go turn 1, you absolutely want to swap out Lawler for blue MP. And then from there, it's basically the Ghostbuster Cena trainers, right? You've got Ridge for 100% more countdown damage. You've got Rhea, another Rhea, for 35% more countdown gem damage. And then you've got your Veteran Salute Cena to create 1 more countdown. So essentially, you're making 29 gems into countdown, and you're doing 157,453 bonus damage for every countdown gem. So let me take out my little handy dandy calculator here. 29 times 157,453 is 4.5 million damage, plus you're doing about 2 to 3 million additional damage for the blue gems. Now, here's where we get into some interesting options on the plates, right? Because, of course, you see countdown and you start thinking, okay, you've got the hard times plate. Whenever you create 6 or more countdown gems, you increase your blue gem damage by 100%. That's going to be amazing. You've got the Cora plate right here. Whenever you make 6 or more countdown gems, increase your purple and red. So this build out is not going to work for that. But you do have your Z plate. Whenever you make 4 or more countdowns, increase your gem damage, all gem damage, by 50% and reduce your opponent's gem damage by 35%. So China's already going to be dead because, again, I can't run against a 6-star. I can't find one that allows for a Legends era aside from the one that I can't beat with Wendy. So I'm not going to equip the plate here, but I do want you to see it. It's going to essentially just double your damage, so it's an easy calculation to run. Other than that, everything is the same. So, and yeah, she's still frozen memories here. Let's go see how this moveset does. All right, same road tour, same gold China, but we're not starting loaded turn 1 as mentioned, so swipe a blue or a black. She's going to get a turn in. It won't matter because right now you're not so worried about this move right here. It's going to reload, and again, it would be loaded turn 1 if I had tour perks. I don't, but that is a good representation of feud and other things. So right now we're getting that 29 gems times the 157k damage. So that's going to go out right away, and it's going to end her. She's done right off the bat, right? So boom, that's 4.5 million. And then from there, you just decrease the countdown gem timers by 1, which activates all of them, turns the whole board blue. Amazing for boss battles with blue, with countdowns. So that did an additional, there it was, about 2.5 million damage. With the hard times plate on, that would be about 4 million damage. At 6-star silver, you're talking 7 to 8 million damage. So all combined, you're talking 12, 13 million damage right there. Flawless reload, all of that good stuff. So that's a pretty nice one right there too. The next moveset is almost the same thing, except for instead of focusing on the countdown gems, we're going to focus on the blue gem damage. So we are going to run the Northern Lights Suplex, increasing the black MP, going straight into the spinning forearm smash, which deals the damage, 28 gems into 1 turn countdown gems, bonus damage for every countdown gem, etc. That is going to be less damage this time than it was on the last because we're not buffing that up in the trainers, you'll see. And then instead of immediately dropping the countdown gems, you have the blue gem damage going up by 130%. One final variation that you could do on that is to run this version right here, but then you are basically going to trade off for a black and a blue trainer, which I don't personally have, one that does both. And so mine I'm going to run where it does have the lag of 1 turn on there. But just know you could do that. Entourage, as you can see above, I did put 1 rare trainer in here, that being the Roman Reigns Ghostbuster. Blue gems do 50% more damage. And then you've got KO. This is the moveset I think he's built for, as I said. Blue gem damage do 40%, and then black moves start with 2 more MP. Sheamus for blue gems do 12k more damage, and once again bringing back in Zombie Gunther for blue gems do 30% more damage. No changes here, although one more time for those in the back, the hard times plate, if you had it, would increase your damage by 100% on blue gems. So we can double that. It's the same math that we're going to do to figure out what would she hit at 6-star silver. You just double it. So double it and then roughly double it again if you put 6 silver plus the hard times plate. So let's see how this variation works. So the other variation that we're going to try on this move set is the Northern Lights Suplex and the spinning forearm as we had before, but swapping out the Tilt-A-Whirl backbreaker. So for this version, we're not so concerned with countdown gems and the damage they're doing. We're focusing on blue gem damage. This is also the moveset that I really think KO is made for. The blue gems do 40% more damage. Black moves start with 2 more MP. You do need Lawler. I don't have tour perks as mentioned, so a good show of what feud would need, that you're going to need her blue MP starting loaded. And then I've just got Sheamus and Zombie Gunther for additional blue gem damage, because you're buffing that blue gem by 130% for 2 turns. I did try this with another variation. I tried it without Move Trainer and putting in one of my heavier hitters for another 50% blue gem damage on the trainer, and it just did not flow. It did not work. So this is the way that I see it working. And same as before, the plate that you would use if you have it is the Hard Times plate. We can just figure out the blue gem damage pretty simply by doubling it, same as you do for 6-star silver. You just double it. And she is still frozen and staring into your soul. All right, we are going to start loaded turn 1 with the blue, but not this one here. See, here is where I would normally have tour perks. So because that isn't loaded, I am going to take a swipe just to simulate what it'll look like when you do have tour perks. But this does show in modes like Feud where you really might not be loaded for this one fully to do its damage. So you might have to adjust your trainers. You might need to throw on Santa Hogan instead of one of your damage dealers. So I'm going to eat the turn, but just so you know. Also, since we don't have the countdown trainers on there, instead of doing 4.5 million, it's doing about 1.8 million damage for that, almost 1.9. So you've got those. Your blue gems are at 60k. You go ahead and buff them by 130%. Bam. Now your blue gems are running 139.9. You are going to have to take a swipe to activate this, so you need to try and see where you're eating the least amount of gems. So if this doesn't cascade, yeah, well, there we go. That was about as few, and then if she doesn't eat every single one of them and get a second turn, so there's your risks right there. But should make enough blue to smash the whole board, and that's all we need to see. So there you are. That was weird because it looked like she was attacking us, but we were attacking her. Either way, gets the job done. I think I like buffing the countdown gems more. It's more consistent, and you break them immediately, whereas this one you do have to do some swipes. But that is that moveset. Let's see at least one more. All right, the last moveset I'm going to show you is a little tricksy hobbitses kind of thing here, because I looked at triple blue, and the reality is they don't flow together, which is weird. You know, normally it's built around either the 5-star triple blue or the 6-star, which is your triple black. But the fact of the matter is, her 6-star move is this Metal Never Dies. Or at least her third black move is the Metal Never Dies. It's a kick out move. It's used defensively. It's not one that I really like to use. Most don't like to use the kick out moves unless there's something special about them. It does deal some okay damage, so you could certainly buff the black move damage on that, as you tend to do with those. But it's just not really there. And the triple blue, increases your blue gem damage, increases your black MP, and then makes 28 multiplies, which you haven't created, into purple. So there's not a single aspect of that runs together, which is quite interesting, right? So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm experimenting. I'm going to see if this works, because on paper it seems to flow. It wouldn't really recycle at all, but could be massive damage. So what we're going to do is the missile drop kick, the one you've already seen, which is the Juggernaut. Yes, it increases your blue MP, so no, that is not going to take effect. But then you've got your choose 4 columns into multi-gems of strength 6. And then you've got the countdown. So basically, you're playing the clock on this one, right? So the missile drop kick isn't for the blue MP. It's increasing the strength of your multi-gems. And then the black is not going to reload itself. They're not going to reload really at all. But then it's making your countdown gems into blue. So you're going to throw down a bunch of multi, change all of them blue, and you're going to have buffed them up over the course of time. So this is a high risk, high reward moveset. But I think it's actually kind of fun. So let's see it. But you do have to load out with your trainers, right? So you've got your Woods for 4 MP purple. Then you've got KO for additional blue gem damage, and black start with 2 more. You've got blue gem damage with Sheamus here. And then you're going to need Santa Hogan to really make this work. Again, I don't have tour perks. So on tours, this should flow pretty quickly. I might have to take a couple of swipes. But that's what I'm going to try. Same as before, she's not moving. Same as before, hard times plate, just times by 2, and we'll see that damage. But let's try this. Let's for science, experiment on this one, right? Let's see. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. Black is not loaded turn 1, but it's only 2 MP away. We are going to go ahead and throw down the Juggernaut gems because we don't care about the blue aspect of it. We just don't care. We do need to be careful that we place them somewhere that's not easily broken. There's just the 2 of them because I didn't put Goldberg on there. So we've got that. And then I am going to take a black swipe to refill the black move. Now the big risk is China is loaded, right? So she's going to break some of my stuff, and I don't like that. But we're going to throw down the columns, see if we can. I mean, they're all going to, whatever's left is going to become blue, so we're not super worried about that. And they are times 6. We're going to throw out 28 random gems. This could very well overwrite the Juggernaut gems, which would mess up our stuff. And it did. So yeah, it messed up our stuff. The for science aspect of this just may have shown me that this is not a good way to go. See what she does. She's going to break a whole bunch of our crap. Look at that. Wow. And now it's going to go off in a pin. Double wow. So, there it is. She's going to stun lock us now. It's not going to be fun. So I don't know that I even need to finish this out. The idea was to get as much blue gem as possible. So why would I have played with this? I did want to see if it worked on a tour, which it doesn't. But where might it work? Well, where does the opponent not touch the board? Boss battle. This is sneakily a possible boss battle build because you don't reload at all, but you're only a 4 MP move here and a 6 MP move on each of those. So, yeah, it makes the whole board blue. Everything that's left is multis. Anyway, we tried something. So that's my last move set. We're going to go to Rusty for the after party conversation in just a second. But my question is, which move set do you see that you're going to use? I've got my thoughts. Spoiler, it's the countdown version. But drop in the comments section and let's go check out the after party.
The after party has begun. It is bodacious. It is radical. It is gnarly. It
Bonza.
is.
Wait, that's
What'd you say?
Bonza. Bonza. It's for Australia, right? I don't know how they talked in Australia in the 80s. I just know I hear a lot of like Bonza slang. So
Is that like anime? Where would you even hear that? Like One Piece? Or I don't know.
I don't know. Is One Piece Australian?
I don't know.
Japanese Australian.
I don't know. They're sailing around the world for the greatest treasure known to me. Anyway, this is an after party for Rhea Ripley, the brand new Chase Superstar Legends era acrobat female. I think I covered all of her identifying qualities. Lee,
yeah,
this took a big brain to like sit down and preview this new superstar. That's why this brain did not do it and yours did. Tell us about some of the complexities of dialing in this moveset and did it just come natural to you? Was it just like, did you see a clear set rise to the top as you try to preview?
Well, the first couple that you saw in the video, like they made a lot of sense. It's countdown specific. It's things
Yeah.
like that. Where it really did get confusing though is, typically triple of that character's color is like a go-to move set.
Right.
Triple blue does nothing together.
Ooh.
It has like none of the moves work with each other at all. So yeah, so you've got the purple Juggernaut into multi into the blue move that makes everything into that is going to be strong. And then you got two variations on the countdown. So she does have some versatility. She hits pretty hard for a chase character. I mean, let me just tell you it this way. I don't have Sherry, and we weren't around for previews at that point. We weren't CCs. She is at the very least light years ahead of Showboat Wendy. So
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of like where does she fit, like this is the most accessible powerful Legends era female that's in the game. A lot of
Best
people are
acro,
able to get
the best
best
acro
acro Legends female they've ever had in this
ever.
game.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah,
No, that's really
yeah,
cool.
but she is really good. And the countdown moveset, you basically build her out the same way as Ghostbuster Cena. She hits for 8-9 million with that, plus it's making all the gems. And when she's 6 silver, it's going to hit twice as hard. You throw
Oh
on
yeah.
the hard times plate. It's all, I mean, she's got some good versatility.
And there's a lot of different tricks I think you can throw on this one. Like you and I were talking kind of offline before the show. She has some shades of Wes Lee, what Wes Lee can do really well. So the Z plate can do some really good stuff. Or
Yep.
if you have even better hard times or
Hard
the heart
times.
stopper, there's a lot of tricks that have been kind of rolled out lately for blue gems, blue gem damage. D'Lo maybe was kind of the prototype that we were seeing people try to build around.
Yeah.
I don't know, but have we seen that with a female superstar yet? I don't think so.
I don't think, I mean, yeah, I don't think so. That she seems very different from a lot of the others that I've played. And the countdown builds, I mentioned it, but boss battle, there was one, I almost cut it, but I threw it in there. It does not work very well at all in tours because things overwrite people the other opponents, when they mess your gems up. But for boss battle, like there's a sleeper build in there that would really only work for boss battle, but it would do some things. And so I kept it in the video for us. But
We actually hear all the time that boss battle is by and large the community's favorite format to play champions on. Either that or that is just my wishful thinking because it's my favorite. So
right. Yeah, I'm still partial to feud, but I do love the boss battle. It grew on me especially. So yeah, good variant. If there was one thing I could say, it's just, I mean, they basically took Brutality Rhea, put the makeup of Judgment Day Rhea, and then threw a new jacket and a wig on her. So I mean, the character model is not super inspiring, but I mentioned it, and I'll say it again. They did fix, at least it looks like they fixed her face. Because if you've seen the older versions, and hopefully they fix all of them, she reminds me of the orc in Lord of the Rings, who's like, we ain't
wow.
had nothing but maggot bread to eat for
Wow.
3
This
stinking
is
days.
this
That's
is
what she looks
Champions
like.
Chat after dark, folks. This is what happens when we when we go all day without water or sunlight working on these
Yeah.
preview videos. And then by the end, we have this after party, and everything's kind of turns into a Lord of the Rings reference from here on out.
There you go. There you go. Well, Rusty, you have any good thoughts, memories of Rhea Ripley in the real WWE before we close this out?
You know, I'll say this. In preparing to film this with you, I was thinking about my favorite Rhea moments, but I think more importantly would be my favorite 80s metal moments because
Ooh.
that's really what is inspired this MLC. And I'll never forget as a kid, it would have been early or maybe late 80s, early 90s, somewhere between 89 to 91, there was a music video for the rock band Poison. And so Bret Michaels was washing dishes in a kitchen, industrial kitchen, and
Okay.
he had just a miserable life, miserable job, and like, out the restaurant door, right, it swung open, and it was a rock arena, and it was his band on stage playing, and they invited him up to play, and the song was Nothing But a Good Time, right? How
Nice.
can I resist? And I have thought about that iconic 80s metal scene so many times as I've done just odd jobs or random labor, is like, where is my rock band? When is my restaurant door going to fling open and I'm going to be rescued by 80s metal to take me away by the big hair and the glamorous makeup that all the men wore back then?
Wow.
And that's what this Rhea poster means to me.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Can I share my
of
80s
course.
metal band?
Please
So
do.
in a previous version of my reality, I actually reviewed heavy metal and hip hop music,
It's true.
and I ended up getting to do an interview with the lead singer of Striper. Now this is, a couple of years ago, so this isn't like 80s Striper. This
Yeah.
is modern day Striper, but they gave me a phone number to call, and I called it. We did the interview, all that. Afterwards, like we're talking, and it was like, oh, this is his personal cell phone number. So like I
Right.
saved it in my phone, never used it again. I have lead singer Striper's phone number in my phone. Well,
There
then
you
one
go.
time I'm texting with a buddy, and I'm trying to do group text with somebody else, and I accidentally started including the lead singer of Striper, and like we're having this big old conversation, and then I realized like, oh no, what did I do?
Did he respond?
So no. There was a, I'm sure, muting of the conversation, changing of the phone numbers, who
Do you know what
knows?
Striper's up to these days? I actually do. Do you know what they're up
Oh
to?
yeah, they've got a
They're
couple
making
albums.
they're selling honey. Did you know that? They have a business now where they're selling like organic honey from bees.
Huh,
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, because they used to dress like bees. They wore black and yellow. And so it's like their brand. This is not
Yellow
a
Black
joke.
Attack is
This is
back.
for real. They now sell honey.
Wow. Wow. Well, we've gotten to the R-Truth version of reality. That's where we're at in this life. Welcome to After Dark Champions Chat. We're so glad that you were with us here. Thanks for joining us for this 7th anniversary preview. Rhea Ripley. We'll continue to throw them out as we go. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, all those things, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.